Hey, what's up? This is my hot take on the movie Hereditary. I know I'm late to the party, and every single other person on YouTube has already reviewed this, but I thought it was a really quite a good film, with a few exceptions, and I thought I'd chuck in my 2 cents. So, yeah.
You ready?
Trust me, friendship is forbidden.
It's a really nice movie. You'll really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have a good story for you.
Mitchie, what's wrong? You've barely touched your nighty-night yogurt.
I think I may have just seen my first good movie. And I just don't know how to process it. It's just so beautiful. I never thought this day would come.
Aww.
I'm so happy. Finally a good movie's come out.
The thing I want to congratulate this film for the most is on its ability to build tension. I thought it was pretty much unsurpassed in terms of atmosphere building for a film that I've seen in the last, 5 years or something. It did that really well, and that relied on the awesome character building. They spent a lot of time building these characters, establishing them, and basically tearing this family apart. This was almost more of a drama than it was a horror, but it still had its horror elements, and they were done quite well. For example, the seance scene was incredible. I thought perhaps it would be kind of run-of-the-mill, but the way that they held tension, it was so good. It was such a good scene, and like a lot of the other scenes were really, really good. I remember sitting there just thinking, this is gonna be fucking scary. Cinematography was beautiful. The Father on Fire looked amazing. My criticisms of it come in toward the end, where it took a turn into super generic land, where everything was chalked down to some satanic presence. Throughout this film, I didn't feel especially spoon-fed. Instead of showing awkward shots of the boy's like budding relationship with his school friend, we kind of saw photos of her on his computer. He was smoking cones and her Facebook was up in the background. So these are the kind of things that help, I think, your audience build trust in your film, that include things that, aren't straight up shoved in your face. That's what an intelligent film does. So what I thought was going to happen coming towards the end of the film was that the family, having been torn apart in multiple different ways, very dynamically, very well written, was just going to keep heading down a dark path where, say, Toni Collette's character, as suggested by the dream, where they're both covered in oil or kerosene and she's about to light a match, which was superb, by the way, really incredibly well done. I thought that the kind of dream state that some of them were in, dreaming about the daughter, like, trying to pull off their head, alluding to the guilt, that was all going to become impossible to separate from reality. I thought that they reached a point, and I can remember thinking it right when the boy's sitting on the bed and he's just staring at the wall and everything's fucked and the tension is just at its height. And I thought they were just going to keep going further into insanity, into sort of like, taking swipes at each other that become increasingly more dangerous, blaming each other, the guilt of the family. And I felt quite disappointed that it didn't go in that direction. I mean, that's something I just made up and projected onto the film as an expectation. But I was disappointed that it didn't continue down that road that it set up. It kind of seemed to like veer off the path a bit. And although the subplot was there that the grandma was involved in some sort of weird cult or whatever, I was still disappointed by it. I thought that the ending was a bit much. It was a bit too in your face. It reminded me of Insidious. I remember watching one of the first Insidious films and just seeing that ghost boy run around going like, that's not scary. Like, you know, the fear of the unknown, as you've heard before, is something that makes horror films scary. And when you open a film like Insidious and have a ghost boy in the daytime running around, like, that's not scary. I don't know who the kid is. I don't have any reason to fear him. And that's kind of, right at the end, it felt a little bit edgy, like, you know, her smashing her head on the roof, or the attic door rather, was sufficiently scary, but it just felt a little bit try hard or something. And like, it didn't need to do that. It didn't need to have those parts, you know, all the naked people. It just, you know, the head on the daughter's head on the fake body. It would have been cool if we had have seen that walking around the house or something, you know, like. Anyway, so I felt like it was a great film. It held tension well, built characters well. Loved the story, loved the way it was shot. Toni Collette is an absolute fucking beast of an actor. I mean, seriously, she needs to win something for that film. And I guess my only disappointment is that they seem to go in a generic direction that they totally didn't need to. Like, you could have just rewritten the last part of the film and it would have been straight up 10 out of 10 horror film, and I don't say that very often, as you know. I'm kind of prone to making fun of most horror films. But yeah, I still really liked this one. I do recommend it heavily. It's still one of the best horror films that's come out in the last, 10 years. I was really excited about seeing it, and yeah, you should too.